Hello there, authors. I am glad you are still searching for the red words in your tales. It is important to find as many red words as possible. The inability to see reality as it is hinders us from learning how to handle situations. The red words often keep us blind to the reality around us. They tell us lies that keep us hoping for a different outcome for the same behaviors. We make choices based on beliefs, with hope for the desired outcome. We often see signs that confirm for us that we are following the right path. These things are superstitions. Superstitions can range from walking on a crack will break someone's back, all the way to having sex makes you a shameful person. They are often things taught through tradition and habits that are seen in developmental years. As a child, you have to learn what is dangerous as it comes into your life. If your parents act like there's something to fear, you assume they are correct that there is something to fear. We often find out that our belief in a superstition is false, yet we still hold on to them. Things like a black cat crossing your path brings bad luck. This began in the Middle Ages during the witch hunts that killed people because of superstitious beliefs. The continuation of superstition is a control mechanism. It is like a slow-release drug for personal insecurities, fears, and hopes. By staying afraid, we typically do not try to identify and conquer our fears. We tend to accept our abuse as the only way things could be. I am not saying that being afraid is wrong in any way. To fear is healthy when there is a justified cause. I am saying that superstitions are gaslighting reality, to keep people afraid to grow beyond their fears, and to fear things that are not true. Superstition can replace the lack of things in our reality too, when it is informing our hopes. Things like blood is thicker than water can make people remain in abuse, with the expectation that our blood family cares about us, even if there is no evidence for that. Superstitions can replace mysteries in our understanding of the world too. A bump in the night can become a monster when it was the cat pouncing in the living room. We end up seeing magic instead of the unknown. We accept the superstitions instead of seeking out the answers. My earliest memories of superstitions are around the holidays. We had to be good children and go to bed early, or else the Easter Bunny, Santa, or Tooth Fairy would not show up. I even got coal in my stocking one Christmas because I started a fight with my siblings over my birthday present. It almost knocked down the tree, and it broke one of Mum's favorite ornaments. The reality was that the adults wanted us kids out of the way to further create the illusion behind the superstitions and to have a little alone time without interruptions. I was helping Mum wrap Santa's presents and make Easter baskets by 6. I knew the reality, but I still wanted to believe in the superstitions. I wanted happy elves and benevolent creatures to exist. I wanted invisible magic in the world that would help me when I needed it. I had seen enough to know that life was horrible a lot. So the idea that there were things out there to counterbalance the horrors was very appealing. I was 6 the year superstitions came to abuse me. I had horrible nightmares often, and I would see people no one else saw. I learned early that my mum was uncomfortable about this. She would still allow me to crawl in bed with her when those things terrified me. But I also learned to regulate how often I asked for comfort. If there was no evidence of something to fear, I was just being a pest, no matter how terrified I was. This was the year Mum began to respond to my nightmares with superstition. It started when I was laying in my bed and the entire house had retired for the night. In the darkness, I saw my great-aunt. She and my great-uncle had never had children, so we 3 kids were their pseudo-grandkids. They lived across the country from us. My aunt was completely taken with all of us children. She made me feel loved no matter what we were doing. In the darkness, my eyes adjusted to see her standing in front of my closet. She was wearing her housecoat and nightie, smiling warmly at me with joy showing in her eyes at recognizing me. I was instantly delighted. I did not know how she just appeared there, I was just happy to see someone I loved and not a nightmare. Just as quickly as she had come, she was gone. I jumped up to run to Mum's room to tell her what I had seen. She was in her room reading in bed as I came into the room. I could see that she was glad to see that I wasn't crying in fear for once. I was excited to tell her that I had a good thing happen. I relayed the information of my aunt's visit, and as I concluded the story, Mum's face looked paler and wide-eyed. She began to tell me that I could not have seen my aunt, because she was all the way across the country in her bed sick right that moment. I insisted I knew it was her that I saw, and before Mum could say anything else, the phone rang. Mum answered the call from across the country to inform us that my great-aunt had died. It had taken my great-uncle about 20 minutes to get to calling Mum, making my aunt's time of death very near to me seeing her. Mum's face became something I had never seen before. She was scared because I had known what I should not have known. I had seen the invisible, but the phone call made it evidence. Mum responded by taking us to church after that. She wanted to make sure that I was baptized to keep me safe from evil spirits. I have not seen any dead people since my early 20s. I know now that all those things I have seen were all human in nature. I understand how our brains create illusions to cope with traumatic situations. I learned how superstitions groom a brain to reason in the fantastic over the reality. There was never anything wrong with me having a human experience. I was not evil, possessed, or cursed, but that is how I was treated. Because my mum believed superstitions, my living experience got defined by outside people and given meaning. I was told I had to believe in a savior, or else the things of my nightmares would harm me. I believed a savior was needed to rescue me from the abuse. I put my trust in the superstition to rescue me. It did not last long. I had already learned too much for me to believe the whole story. Still, I spent over half my life trying to follow and find something that is not real. I made choices that lead to my continued abuses in multiple levels of interpersonal relationships, as well as in my greater society. All of this is because I was chasing a superstition, hoping for the ascribed outcome of that superstition. I was taught at 6 years old that monsters were real and saviors rescue you, yet I rarely saw either in reality. It was always a human making a choice behind the depravity in my reality. It was always a person who brought me joy too. I saw people get away with abusing me, and the superstitions justified it in the community. Believing is hoping. Superstition takes beliefs and makes them the bet you are going to place your life on. I know I saw my dead aunt at her death, thousands of miles away. I do not need anything beyond my love for her and her love for me to understand why I saw her. I do not need more than brain functions to explain my interpretations for what I saw. It is important for me to make sure my reality is not infused with red words to mislead me. I had to find real-life solutions on foundations of truth with supporting evidence, to weed out the superstitions that were keeping me in my abuse. When we learn to appreciate what we have for the truth of it, no matter how terrible that may be, we can stop wishing for what we think it should be. This enables us to make the changes necessary to improve our individual worlds. It is letting go of the superstitions, not the hopes and fears. It is taking responsibility for your hopes and fears as something you can achieve on your own, without the superstitions hampering you from achieving them. You cannot force an abuser into accountability. More often than not, attempting to do so unleashes the rage of the abusers. Abusers do not like to be made to be responsible for themselves. They feel entitled to domination of others for tyrannical gains. So, do not let the abusers have that power over your hopes, fears, and insecurities. These are a person's toolkit for improving their lives. The thing needed to obtain self-confidence in one's own integrity and ability. To tell people falsehoods about these things is denying them the ability to live a fulfilling life of purpose. The abusers cannot hold your faith captive unless you let them through believing the superstitions. It is the easier answer for so many of us. To just keep hoping for the good we never see in life is going to save us. To hold your head high, knowing you are doing it right, and someday you will get treated well. We all want these things, but we will never get there in a superstitious world. Superstition prevents progress. They are red words to enable the system of abuse. You are aware of these things now. You do not have to give up the traditions. It will be to reframe your participation so they won't manipulate your hopes and fears. Learning to set boundaries for the systems that use superstitions to control people will be hard. You will face many people unaware of the red words, trying to keep you enabling the system of abuse. Through shaming your questions or expecting your silence, you will be labeled nasty things, as abusers do, to discredit their victims. I understand this reality is terrifying. To think that your symbol of hope has been an abuser the whole time, but many of us have been there in our personal relationships too. We believe to the nan realities for comfort in our hopes and fears. We were manipulated. No victim causes their abuse. I was told to believe the lies too young to know any better, as I am sure most of us were told. We did nothing wrong in believing. They did wrong in manipulating that, abusing our reality into a system that keeps us abusing each other. Not anymore for me. I hope the same for you all. These red words no longer hold my fears and hopes in their clutches. I am able to act in the world with integrity, instead of shame for being alive. I know each and every one of you have faced challenges in life, where you being misinformed caused embarrassment. At the very least, it is okay to find out you were wrong, as long as you aim to correct that. Believe in yourself, because whatever it is that you feel exists, believes in you. It does not need superstitions to exist, but abusers need superstitions to control. Red words unseen through blind faith. Cheers to having the eyes to see the unseen at last. I know you will find those purple words to replace the abuse in your stories. Authors, you have all the hope in the world backing you.